In this week's classes, we're going to be looking at the health of your sacroiliac joint. I'm going to show exactly where that is, but the very most important reason why we're looking at it is because quite often it's instability in the sacroiliac joint that causes pain in the low back, sometimes a little bit further up the back and sometimes down the legs as well. So we'll be looking at why that is from an anatomical perspective. In the class this week, you'll need a chair and a wall. The pelvis is a bit like a bowl and the spine like a broomstick sticking up out of it. There are many connective tissues in a complicated pattern keeping it stable. It consists of the ilium, the ischium and the pubic bone. We aren't able to voluntarily move our muscles, but we can contract the other muscles that join on to the pelvis. For instance, our leg muscles, our spinal muscles, and of course our abdominals. There are two sacroiliac or SI joints, and sometimes they can become jammed. It's important for walking that these don't become unstable, as is common with hypermobile people, where often the pelvis ends up tipped too far forward or back, since the pelvis, hip joint and lumbar spine often move together. So it can end up anteriorly or posteriorly tilted, hiked to one side or rotated. The pelvis, if it's stuck in one of those positions, is more vulnerable in either forward or back bends. If the back of the pelvis is pulled up, then the back muscles get tightened and the front of the pelvis is being pulled downwards. It's the exact opposite if we have a posterior tilt. If we're hiked on one side, then the obliques and the QL muscles shorten and the inner thigh muscles do as well. The glutamus maximus on the opposite side also shortens. When women get pregnant, this can often be the start of SI joint dysfunction, and pain radiates up the back and down the legs and is irritated by twisting and back and forward bends. We have to learn to let the hip joint do the work. Try not to stand on one leg and avoid sitting with a leg tucked under you, or sitting to one side, or with one leg on top of the other with the knee out like this chap. During classes, if you have pain and tension during the SI flows, do less movement and go slower.